So let me compare the biblical Christ and these other three Christs side by side, and you can decide if I'm crazy or if we have a real problem on our hands. You decide for yourself. The biblical Christ says he created in 6 days, and that it was man's sin that corrupted his creation, bringing in death, separating us from him, and that he judged man's sin with a flood that covered all the high hills under the whole heaven. That's the biblical Christ. The progressive creation Christ, he says he used millions and millions of years to slowly create us, and death was the good tool that he used to create us, and it wasn't a global flood, it was at most a local flood. Then there's the theistic evolution Christ, who used millions and millions of years to slowly evolve us. And again, death was the hero to the plot that he used to slowly evolve us. And it wasn't a global flood, it was just a local or regional flood. Then there's the gap theory Christ. Now, he had an original creation. It's not found in the Bible. I call it the non-biblical creation. And Satan and his minions messed up the non-biblical creation so much that God judged it with a global catastrophe, perhaps a global flood. There's varying versions. And this is when he picks up with Genesis 1 verse 2 and has the 6-day creation. But he leaves Satan and his minions in it that he just destroyed the other creation because of, leaves it full of Satan and his minions and calls it very good. Well, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally. And death existed long before Adam. It wasn't just Adam's sin bringing in death. And if there was a flood, it was a local flood. Or if it was a global flood, it didn't leave any evidence behind because they ascribed the evidence of the global flood to their non-biblical flood. All three of those beliefs are destroyed by a global flood. Hope you understand that. You know, the Bible tells us in 2 Timothy, in the last days, here's another last days prophecy. Perilous times shall come. Men shall be lovers of themselves, their knowledge, proud, boastful. There's a whole list. And at the end of that list, it says, having a form of godliness, but denying its power. Having a form. See, it's not exact. They're not atheists. They say they believe in God, but it's not exactly God. It's a form of God. Why? Because they're denying his power. Oh, I believe in God, but well, he couldn't have created in 6 days. And he certainly couldn't have judged the world with a flood that covered all the high hills under the whole heaven. And the last sentence in that verse is, from such, turn away. The biblical Christ was born of a virgin 2,000 years ago. The progressive creation Christ was invented by man 210 years ago to fit the geologic time scale of millions of years into God's Word. The theistic evolution Christ was invented 140 years ago to fit millions of years in Darwinism into God's Word. And the progressive creation Christ was invented about 70 years ago to make theistic evolution sound like creation. There's not much difference between the two. But in 1 Corinthians, we're told your faith should not stand in the wisdom of man, but in the power of God.